by all means, you can ask at pretty much any time. Um, but I guess I'll give you an introduction to what the NCO training usually is. The NCO trainings are held for pretty much anybody that wants to learn more on how the regiment operates, as well as maybe train a little bit better to maybe become a better soldier within the line, and potentially prepare yourself for, if an opportunity comes where you are nominated for an NCO position, you'll have a better idea on what to do and what is expected from you. So, yeah, Knuckles, do you have a question?
Well, what they were saying in chat was what rank is higher, the CHV or the J Guard? That's what they were talking about in chat.
Oh,
CH.
CHV or J Guard? Um, I'm not sure actually. Let's take a look.
They're both the same equivalent.
I fucking love that.
They're all Foos equivalent. Actually, you're tied in rank.
Yeah.
Cornless. So
All right. So yeah. First, I want to actually just let you guys know how we operate. So obviously, we are a pretty disciplined regiment. In regards, to NW. Yeah, my dog is crying because somebody's outside. He wants to play with them. I have family over, so. But yeah, if you hear any whimpering or anything like that, just ignore it. Um. All right. So again, this is basically to prepare you, and also to educate you. So first and foremost, um, as I was saying, we are pretty disciplined, and the way we operate is basically, um, your efforts and your own commitment is basically what dictates whether you are considered for an NCO position or pretty much any other position for that matter. Like, I see Knuckles, he's a J guard, right? He's supposed to be representing the entire guard company. But if he goes out of line and he starts, acting like a knucklehead, pun intended, um, you know, he'll either be withheld any future promotions or he may potentially even be demoted, just depending on, uh, the situation. But again, we don't really value ranks too much, or we don't want to. We value the ranks. We don't want to emphasize on the ranks as well because, me being chef de battalion, I'm second in command of the entire regiment. However, that doesn't mean that I have the right to, start saying whatever, maybe even disrespecting you guys, right? We try to treat everybody with the same respect. Um, and we also look at that. We keep an eye on what you guys do. I mean, all of our NCOs work very hard to keep track of your attendance. Um, and when we consider future positions, we look at everything. We look at what you do for the community. Do you attend? What's your reputation? Do you troll? Do you recruit? right? These all different aspects that helps the entire regiment we look at, and that's something that we want to promote within our regiment as well, because we we don't get the benefit like other regiments in the community do, right? We don't get people that are already experienced coming to our regiment, because here everybody has to work from the ground up, no matter who you are. I started as a cadet, William started as a cadet, and we worked our way up through the ranks, right? So that means that we actually value our ranks a lot more. So you know you should be proud. Like, I mean, Papyrus, he's Fus V, so that means that he's been here a while. Uh, he's also had to pass a trial. Knuckles, same thing. So you guys earn your ranks. Um, but yeah, we also want to, right, honor the rank as well. So if you do, uh, reach these certain ranks, we expect you to at least, you know, represent the regiment well, represent your rank well, because whether you like it or not, people look up to you, because not everybody can reach that particular rank, right? There's people that have left, and started their own regiments, but they couldn't even get a melee, they couldn't even pass a melee trial, right? So a lot of you guys have proven that you can pass that. You've proven that you can pass your trials. And if you haven't yet, you should be training, right? For the SODs, SOPs, your job now is to train specifically in melee and specifically to pass your Fusilier or guard trials. All right. So again, we of course value our ranks. However, we don't want to emphasize too much on the rank and all of that, because again, um, at the end of the day, we're just regular people, right? But we also take a look at your reputation. All right. So that being said, um, do you guys have any questions before we start? All right, Knuckles, go ahead. Yeah. After the training is over, again, I want if you guys have any questions pertaining to NCO uh responsibilities, or pretty much anything regarding the regiment, um, you can feel free to ask. Anybody have any questions? And you guys can talk.
Talk.
No?
How
All
long
right.
is this gonna take?
However long it takes.
Right.
You can leave
Um,
anytime
That's
you
just
want.
a
Yeah,
bit-
it's
not
no,
mandatory.
nobody's chaining you here. I'm not, again, I'm not here to, waste my time. However, we're not gonna, keep you here. If you need to go, or you find it boring, or you find it like you're just not interested, then by all means, you're entitled to leave. Um, However, those guys that actually do stay, um, I'm gonna be working very closely with you guys. We can, do this on a weekly basis. But training to become an NCO takes time. You cannot just automatically get promoted and expect to, you know, do your function. I mean, especially within this regiment. When you have, let's say, a GDM rank, you are more of a servant to the community. You serve your fellow players, you serve your fellow community members, and it's a lot of work. Are you guys prepared for that? A lot of people aren't.
No
Yeah,
response.
no. The thing is, yeah. I mean,
I thought
maybe.
that was a
Yeah, that's
rhetorical question.
that's an honest question, but I mean, you can answer again. I'm trying to start a conversation. This is not, again, like your usual trainings. This is not, me dictating orders to you guys. This is a conversation. This is almost considered it like a classroom, right? You guys can ask questions. I'm here, to answer to the best of my ability. I have a lot of experience, um, you know, uh, building regiments as well as maintaining them, um, as well as playing in the competitive line. Some of you guys may have seen. I mean, I think Fire Nuke, you were in the last competitive line, right?
Yup.
Now, you saw the difference between the first half and the second half, correct?
Yeah. We almost made a comeback.
Right, we almost made a comeback, but you know, there are very small things that being an NCO you have to be aware of, and not a lot of people are just come off the bat and are good leaders. Some leaders have to be made, and we take the time to actually make them. What makes a good or bad NCO? That's a great question. That is uh kind of subjective, but within our regiment, what makes a good or bad NCO is whether you are able to carry out your responsibilities to the rest of for the community. Um, Also, if you consider being a GDM, making it, and you stop there, and you do not continue learning and honing your craft, then you are a bad NCO. Because the thing is that there's other regiments that they're constantly improving, they're constantly learning, they're constantly changing. So you have to be on the ball with that, and you have to be able to adjust. Another thing for a bad NCO is not being able to train your line properly, right? If you don't drill your guys, then that means that you are failing your guys because, you know, let's say for a line, right? You all are in the line company. Um, your NCO should be training you how to pass the Fusilier trial, right? Because when you get to that point, you should not be then starting to ask for help because you are not doing yourself a favor because you're you're like basically cramming for finals, right? Think of it like that. If you have a course and then you wait for the last minute to start studying, you're not going to pass. Chances are, right? Unless you're naturally smart, right? So unless you're naturally good at this game, chances are you'll need to start from the moment that you enter this regiment to the moment that you trial to start training. And I mean, you guys have it easy. I'm telling you that right now. You guys have it very easy because there's a structure that's there, that is willing to help you guys. Back in the day when I was a cadet, we did not have that. We had to train on our own. We had to search, for random people to help train us. And, back in the day, if you didn't put in the time and effort, you were left behind. Right? Nobody cared about you. Oh, I won't say that, but you really had to like put in the effort on your part. Um, but good question, Benny. I hope I answered your question sufficiently. But there's a whole wide range of aspects that make you a good or bad NCO. At the end of the day, is what are you able to produce, right? If you're able to produce guys that can compete, then you're a good NCO. No matter how what you do, what drills you do, how you respond to your company members. If you cuss out your company members and that works, hey, by all means, do what you need to do. But we don't create cookie cutter, uh, you know, NCOs. That's not what we're here for. What we're here for is to make sure that you understand how the regiment operates and that you respect that. You respect the process because sometimes it's not fair, or you may not consider it fair you may not like the result, but you still need to uphold it because that's what you signed up for, right? There's some guys that, sometimes they may be your friends, right? We make friends here, but being a 63E member, you have to be, a little bit, aware of the fact that people will try to use that as a means to remove you from the regiment. They will use friendship as a means to say, hey, you know, let's say it doesn't work out for me in this regiment, I'm going to go somewhere else, right? They're going to be like, hey, Papyrus, we were best buds, man. Why don't you come over to such and such regiment, right? It's already happened, right? Papyrus, right? It's already happened. So these are things that I'm not, I'm not spewing from, just nowhere. This is stuff that actually happens. And again, we do not, just like we don't chain you here to attend this particular NCO training, we don't chain you to the regiment. However, we have a lot to offer. And I mean, if you're either with us or you're not with us. If you're not with us, then so be it. We wish you the good luck. If you do whatever, if you want to leave or whatever, which I hope you don't, but if you do decide that, you have to make sure that you do it in the correct process, and that means not to take anybody away from the regiment, right? Because what that does is that is poaching. That's taking, let's say, the smart dude or maybe Banny, right? Banny may be, busting his ass to recruit. He may be putting that time on the servers to recruit, but then you come in, or maybe somebody else comes in. They feel jaded, they end up leaving, and then they want to pull those guys that you worked hard to get. You see how that works? But anyway, I'm gonna digress with that because that's a little bit off topic. As far as NCO training, that's pretty much the culture that we have, right? We have to keep everybody, of course, we respect everybody, but you also have to make sure that you follow the orders. If you dislike what's going on, you can voice your opinion, but you make sure that you do that privately in the good in the correct setting, and that means reporting it to an NCO, right? It doesn't mean to start talking and trying to cause rumors and discord within the regiment, because that doesn't do anything. It doesn't solve the issue. All right, so what's the most important thing for leading lines? Does anybody know?
Confidence.
Confidence, yeah. Anything else?
Skill.
Skill. Communication.
Strategy, communication.
Communication is very important. All of those are correct. Let's start with communication. Whenever you're leading a line, we always encourage you to project your voice. Make sure that your voice is heard, so that way if anybody is talking within the line or something happens, your line is still able to hear your commands, right? So, and they have to be clear. If they're not clear, have you been in any or in a line where an NCO is like, all right, guys, left face, right face? Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. So a few of you have been in lines where you've have like an NCO who mumbles, right? Is it hard? Do you have to strain your ears, right? Yeah, it's uncomfortable, and when you project your voice, it just makes it easier for everybody else.
Yes, Joshua, I'm not chilling there. No offense, but still.
I don't think,
Yeah.
I think I've ever heard Joshua talk, except for that one time where he had to lead the line and he just kind of awkwardly, quietly mumbled, "What do you want me to do?"
All right. So yeah, that's, I would say, one of the most important things, especially when you first start out leading the lines. Another thing is knowing the correct commands, right? Have you been in a line where they're like, "All right, guys, let's go"?
Yep.
I've been in a line where I've seen that,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, I put my freaking palms, my face in my palms because I'm like, come on, man, you're an NCO, you should know the correct commands. We have commands so that way your guys can, uh, follow them. When you say left face, they will respond. If you say, "All right, guys, let's go," that means that the guys in the line have to look for you. That's wasted time. What about if a line is shooting at you and you need to get out of there really quickly, right? The time is wasted if you are not clear with your commands. So please brush up on it. We have a guidebook that has all of our commands. It also explains how to issue them, and maybe next week I'll go into actually um, how to execute them and when to execute them, right? In which scenarios. So that being said, do you guys have any questions regarding leadership or pretty much your rank, your part in the community, anything? It's good. However, it's not mandatory.
It's not part of the NCO package.
Right.
Yeah, just
Again,
go walking.
that's something that you can add, right? Like, I mean, everybody has a personality. Everybody has a different personality for the most part. Like my commanding is different from, maybe Curtis's, is different from X, is different from William. We all have different personalities, but we all get the job done, right? We all can be reliable, and that's the most important thing. Everything else is considered extra. So what you do and how effective you are in doing that, that's what matters more. Any other questions? Yeah, Knuckles. Yeah, if you like, yeah, we actually can. I mean, I've had practices where we had 2v2 with the line, so we actually have pretty good people. Um, I wish we had more, but we got to work with what we got. So yeah.
Understandable.
Um, all right. Yeah, we're gonna be starting it again. I'm gonna try to. This is just a quick introduction. I just wanted to see who was interested. Um, and then what I want you guys to do is actually pay attention to how your company commanders operate their line. Right? Just be observant. Right? And what you do is when you are in a particular situation, right? You'll start seeing like, oh shit, what could have we done in this situation? Or you could actually know maybe of a solution, right? But be observant. Yes, it does matter. Melee levels do matter. And actually, again, that's another good point that you're bringing up, Benny, which is you have to, I mean, right now, your priority is your own personal melee, right? Everything else is secondary. So even this NCO training is secondary to your own personal melee. You need to train constantly. You need to look to improve constantly, right? Just like I'm looking to improve. I've been here for over 4 years, almost 4.5 years, and I still am looking to improve, and I still, keep up my training. So yeah, melee levels are important. You need to be at least, I believe, melee level 3, if I'm not mistaken. So again, if you're looking for that, if you are an NCO or you want to become an NCO, melee is priority. That has to be in your blood. And if it's not, then inject it because it has to be in your blood. Has to. There's no options other than that. You need to be a powerhouse because, for example, if I go to you, let's say Benny, you're in GDM, right, and I'm a cadet. I come to you and I need to learn how to train in melee, but you're not at that level yet where you can, you know a lot of the advanced stuff. How effective are you? Right? Not very. So again, melee is priority. Competitiveness is priority. You need to know how to melee. Any other questions?
Well, yeah. A normal GDM would probably say go ask a Foos or a higher melee rank to train you. That's what they normally say.
All right. If they normally are doing that, then they're not doing their job. I mean, I still take time to train individuals. So if you guys need 1v1 training, I strongly encourage that. That's the best way to learn. Yes, and the NCO should be in the NWO. If they're not, again, they're not doing their part. Right. I believe I taught you a few tricks or techniques. But yeah, I mean, again, that's my job, right? I wouldn't be doing my job properly if I wasn't, available or making myself available for that. So if you know any NCOs then are bypassing you, right? And they're going, let's say, to play any other games or just do other things, William, well, report that because again, we take a look at that. That means that they're not doing their job sufficiently, and they're not helping out the community. You know, that means that their personal, uh, uh, promotions will be delayed. All right, next question.
Can I shoot that? Oh my god! Ow! Can I shoot that dummy?
What?
That one right there.
If you
NA's.
miss, you get to
Yeah, I used to do NA. I used to do EU orientations as well. Yeah, we're all able to do applications. We just have to make sure that we report it to the other NCOs, the EU NCOs, so that way they're aware of, let's say, a brand new cadet. Right? I've done it. I've inducted plenty of EU recruits. So, yes, they should be doing that. We're all here to help each other. That's why we pretty much, select the best. Right? It's very competitive. Don't think that just because you've been in here for a while, entitles you to, a position. It doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. You have to do what you have to do in order to prove your worth. Because if you don't, then it's going to show. And more than likely, you're going to get overlooked. And it's nobody else's fault except your own. And I'm just being straight up. Because again, there may be somebody else that's actually doing something. They may be attending every single event. They may be recruiting, right? That's putting extra time in to the community that they love. They want to be a part of it, right? Any other questions? No, not necessarily. No. Well, Fusiliers are more looked to become NCOs. We would like to retain our guards because even a guard in itself is a very distinguished rank. I mean, you have to be very disciplined if you want to do well. What do you mean? Oh, he didn't want to become an entrepreneur. Yeah, because again, he realized, like Tom was one that he knows what we're about, right? Even when he was outside the regiment, he was still fairly knowledgeable on what we do, and he knows it takes a lot of work, right? So he wasn't. I'm sure he wasn't certain whether he can dedicate the time that it needs that rank needs. So when he reevaluated it, he accepted the rank because he knew that he could actually handle the job. Not necessarily. I mean, I was promoted from a detachment. But what I will say is that Fusiliers are more groomed, or they tend to be groomed for that particular position or that responsibility. They don't even need the position, right? Because I mean, what is it? It's just a rank, right? If you're if you're just motivated for the rank, then you're in the wrong regiment. Because I mean, if I was just here for my rank, I wouldn't fucking be doing shit for y'all. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be taking the time out of my day to do this. Um, yeah, ranks, ranks matter in the effect of, like, it shows the structure, right? It shows that we have structure. But at the end of the day, we're all in it together. Like, we want to promote just a good spirit in our community, right? And if you're just worried about ranks, that's a very selfish motivation, right? Just like guys that have left this regiment. Some of these guys couldn't handle other NCOs being put in charge above them, right? They felt that they were owed something, so that way, that's why they left. They couldn't. Their egos could not handle that. And if you're one of those people, maybe do some internal meditation and look. Yeah, I mean, playing, well, not to call out names, but yeah, I mean, matter of fact, they called him out last night because he couldn't even get a melee level 1. Not to name names, but since you've already put his name out there, he could not even get a melee level 1. However, he's currently a high ranking officer in another community. Would you want to be a part of that? Somebody that can't even attain a minimal level of melee, right? Would you guys want to follow that? I know I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I mean, I don't know him personally. I mean, the conversations that I have, I'll keep that to myself. But him as a person is irrelevant, right? He could be a great person. He could be extremely lovable. But do you want to follow somebody that is not competent?
He was a shit mailer.
Right? Exactly.
Who we
He's
talking
not.
about?
That means that he's
Playing
not
cards.
competent. That means that he's not competent. And not even, like, taking his name out of there. Just anybody. Right? Would you want to follow that? Right? No. I know I wouldn't. I mean, we train you guys literally from the ground up. Right? Everybody that's entitled or feels entitled and feels that we owe them something, or that you guys owe them something, or that, they're just have a selfish motivation, they don't do well here. That's why they end up being pushed out or end up leaving. Again, we don't keep you guys here. But if you stay, I guarantee you that you'll actually learn something. And you'll learn to strengthen this community. You'll learn to actually build relationships within this community from guys that think the same as you do, right? That strengthens us when you have that certain mentality, right? Because your weakest link is how strong you are. If you keep guys like those in the regiment, they end up they're gonna bring you down, and that's what we don't want. All right. So if you stay and you prove that you can actually go through those trials and tribulations, I mean, I've even been in positions where, I got demoted twice. Matter of fact, I got demoted twice in one fucking day, and I'm still here. Matter of fact, not only am I still here, but I'm second in command of this regiment. So if I'm not proof of that, then I don't know what to tell you guys. Right? I don't talk out of my ass. I don't talk, anything that I am not aware of. Right? If I tell you I don't know, then I don't know. But this is something that I do know. And this is something that, this is what we want to promote. So again, if you are able to get through all of the BS and all of the disappointments and all of that, and you're still here, that means that you value this community and you strengthen it. All right, next question. All right, so then Knuckles, you're free to go on a group fighting server.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
63 in group fighting.
What's going on?
Before
Whoa,
we're
I have
talking
a
about
question, I
playing
have a question.
cards.
Oh, okay. Easy.
I have a question.
We're doing
I
an
have a
NCO
question.
training right now.
All right, again, this is just conversations. I wanna wrap this up. So again, I'm trying to answer the questions to the best of my ability. Any questions that you guys want to know? I mean, the only way that you're gonna get value from this is if you bring it. If you bring those questions.
I have a question.
Yep.
Why were you demoted? Also,
Why was I demoted? Back in the day, the promotion system in the skirm company was you had to fight for your rank. So they had a detachment-wide tournament, and I was having a bad day, and I didn't do well in my tournaments, and I ended up getting demoted from Big Foe to Fusilier de Premier, and then I trialed again for that, and I got demoted down to Fusilier.
well, I mean, it's not like you got demoted down to like SOD.
Well, it doesn't matter. Regardless, even if I did, that's 2 demotions. I'm probably the only person that have experienced that, to be honest, within the regiment. That's probably, it was something that, it sucked for me at the time because I did work very, very hard. And it does suck, just like when detachments go. It fucking sucks, right? But we continue on. And that's what I did. And, I kept on going. That motivated me to get even better. And the next time that I trialed, Papa Zen did his thing, right? Because I put the time and I put in the effort. And I got my rank back. Any other questions?
Yeah, can I shoot that? Can I shoot that dummy?
If you're talking about Knuckles, then no.
Gentlemen.
My highest rank is my current rank that I have now. Any other questions? And good evening.
Do you want another rank? You want more?
Of course, yeah. I'm definitely motivated to continue, rising up the ranks. But at the same time, my responsibilities don't really change. I do whatever I can for the community, and for you guys. Any other questions? Yes, I can. Next question. All right, next week again. We're gonna move. I'm gonna end it. Next week we're gonna actually do some drills. For now, I'm gonna just swap us to spec, and we're gonna just practice some internals. All right.